This is TWiT.
Somebody's going to have to fill me in. What's the latest on the Apple Watch? Is it okay? Is it not okay?
It's okay-ish. Some of the stuff has been sustained that Masimo, like some of Apple's appeals, they've said no. And there's other things going on, but it sounds like Apple's big solution to the problem to keep it on sale is that they will use software to just disable that sensor on new sales.
On new sales. So like my Apple Watch is not going to lose its oximeter.
Yeah, no, it's not hardware. I think that they're just going to turn it off until they can come to a resolution for newly sold Apple Watch Series 9 or Ultra 2s.
Massimo says you can't just fix it in software, dudes.
Right, exactly.
That's our hardware you're stealing.
Well, but I think that what they're saying is... I'm
sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted you.
I think that what Massimo was saying was that you can't. Apple said we can work around their patents with software, and Massimo says no, you can't. And now Apple's saying, well, we can just disable it so it doesn't actually do anything. I don't think that was what Massimo was saying. They couldn't do. Maybe it is. I mean, I'm sure they don't want to do that. But I think that what Massimo was saying is you can't work around our patent and actually have that functionality. There's no way to write software that would get around that functionality.
Right. I think you're correct. Massimo actually specifically said that it's not a software thing. It is a hardware thing. And there's no way you can write new software that would be in compliance with our patents. Customs has already said that we feel this is to remove the feature entirely is a correct and acceptable way to get to allow Apple to continue to import watches into this thing. It's obviously not going to be a long-term solution. Apple's going to have to. It's going to be a lot of work that's very invisible because, for one thing, they're going to have to erase every hint from every piece of marketing materials that such a feature exists. This was going to be a problem because because if they just simply, we'll just like issue an OS release, an OS update that somebody turns it off. Well, you still have on the website and still have on the box and still have everyone saying that this is that blood oxygen sensing is part of this feature. People who, so long as they don't turn off that feature for people who have already purchased it, they're not in trouble with those purchasers. However, the first time someone buys this watch thinking that Apple has told them that this can sense blood oxygen levels, but it cannot, that's when a class action suit is going to happen.
So this is CNBC from yesterday. It might have changed already. Redesigned Apple Watches not subject to import ban, says U.S. Customs. Now, remember, it was the ITC, the U.S. International Trade Commission, that banned them, but I guess Customs has to enforce that ban. So if Customs says, no, we're not going to stop it, that's good news. And then the courts, so Apple said yesterday it's going to take as long as a year for this appeal to wend its way through the courts. So it expects a decision on its request to keep the ban paused during that time as early as today. I haven't heard yet. That's because the Federal Circuit is still thinking about whether to continue the pause or reinstate the ban. So it looks like Apple, according to CNBC, Apple argues it's likely to win the appeal and that allowing the ban to stay in effect would cause significant harm to the company. Massimo has said maintaining the pause would hurt its business and reputation and demoralize its scientists and engineers. You wouldn't want to demoralize those poor scientists and engineers. It also said yesterday that the Customs decision undermines Apple's argument that reinstating the ban would cause the giant irreparable harm. It's a complicated story, which I have not been able to parse, but I think it means you can buy one. I don't know what it means, but it won't have a blood oximeter app on it.
Exactly. It will not have it will still have the hardware because they can't redesign the hardware. Right. However, it will not have any software whatsoever that can activate that. And like I said, Massimo's position has always been that it's a hardware issue. Apple was making noises earlier to say, we'll adjust our algorithm so that the software reads it in a different way. They're saying, no, you've got hardware on this device that violates our patents. Until you rip out that hardware, your hardware is in violation of our patents. And as said, it's going to take about a year for the legal stuff to wind down. And if Apple still loses after that, they're just going to have to bin the whole thing.
All right.
Or basically come up with brand new hardware that doesn't infringe, or negotiate and sign a deal with Massimo to continue to use whatever base hardware they have. It's going to be interesting to see what the 2024 line of Apple Watches have in terms of actual hardware. Like, are they going to Are they going to continue to have the same hardware platform under the hopes that they will be able to reactivate it with a software update in January or February of 2025? Are they going to try to, at this late stage, develop brand new hardware that they've properly licensed that doesn't infringe? Or are they going, anything could happen between now and October.
Hey, it's Leo Laporte. If you enjoyed this little snippet of our programming, make sure you check out the full MacBreak Weekly. The link is right down there.